Good evening. It's Monday, September 28th at 5:37 p.m. This is the Wind Turbine and Alternative Energy Committee. We're meeting at 5 West Street tonight in the Randall School Building. Our first agenda item is reorganization. Does the board have any nominees for chairperson?
I nominate Jeff.
Jeff?
Actually, I will decline the nomination, but thank you, Jack. Oh, I guess I have, do I have to mention that?
Any other nominations?
I will nominate my partner, Maureen, on the right here. Maureen Daly as chair.
Okay.
Second.
Entertain a motion. Jeff, you want to present that in the form of a motion?
I move to nominate Maureen as the chair of the committee.
Okay. Second? Jack? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Maureen, I turn the meeting over to you as chair.
Thank you. Thank you, Eric. I'll probably look for a little guidance as I haven't chaired too many yet, so feel free, any constructive criticism as we go. I'll take it.
No
So the next item we have on the agenda is the minutes. So I actually have the minutes from the last two meetings since I believe, or the meeting from the 9th, from March 9th and January 21st. There was a meeting in between, however, I don't think minutes were taken at that one. So I'd look to just distribute these to have people review, and then we can, if people want to take copies, and then we can just, I believe the protocol is people review them, and as long as I don't hear anything, they'll be approved by the next meeting, and then I'll just put them on file with the town.
Short. And through the chair, Maureen, at the next meeting, if we want, we can take it would be advisable, I think, to officially vote to approve the minutes.
Okay.
Okay? And
Yep.
It's okay to do it that way.
so it's the 21st there.
No,
So there should be copies for folks of the March 9th and the first 21st, so we will, so everyone has copies, and we will approve at the next meeting.
And before we move forward, I think we should vote in a vice chair as well,
Okay.
just in case, you're absent for a meeting.
So with that, I guess I would nominate Jeff as the vice chair.
that one also.
Okay. And, Jeff, would you want to make that motion?
Okay, I make a motion.
I'll second the
Jeff
motion.
for vice chair.
Okay.
Any discussion?
Okay.
Alright, so we can vote.
Mhm.
All in favor?
All right.
Motion granted.
Great. Okay.
All right, from there, our next item is the municipal aggregation.
Okay. So we have some good news, as I'm sure you all saw in the email from Matt. We received our letter of approval. It was granted by the Department of Public Utilities on September 17th. This is on record the fastest DPU approval in the state regarding municipal aggregation. So for the public watching, just a brief history, the committee had made a recommendation to the town manager of Colonial Power Group to support our municipal aggregation plan, and the Board of Selectmen hosted a hearing on May 26th. We applied to the Department of Public Utilities on June 30th. We had a hearing on August 17th. And like I announced, the approval was granted the 17th of September. On October 1st, we will be going to bid for our rates. And tonight, Colonial Power Group is actually attending the Board of Selectmen meeting to give an official announcement to the Board of Selectmen in the town. So if any of the committee members are interested in seeing that, that will be, well, Board of Selectmen begins at 7. That's all I have.
Now,
Oh, Jeff?
previous discussions we've had at meetings, I know Bob had mentioned numerous times about National Grid purchasing or setting their rates, spring and fall, if I remember,
Yeah.
May and October type of thing. Now, did he mention that May was normally a cheaper, springtime was a cheaper rate than the fall rates?
I can't recall exactly. Do
Yeah, I remember in the discussion that the fall rates tend to be higher than the spring rates, based on the market prices.
Right, the only reason I'm bringing that up is I know we want to go out to bid as soon as possible. Was there a discussion on how long this term would be?
One of the options that Matt, the town planner, and Ed Kastanovich, CFO, has been discussing with Colonial is a 6-month rate that would get us through the winter, and a reevaluation in the spring when rates become
back
lower.
down.
Yep.
That's what I was gonna suggest, okay. I
But
don't know
I-
if we could go that short a term, but.
Right. There's, I believe in the contract allows us to evaluate the rates every 6 months.
Okay.
But I'd be happy to pass along that, if the committee agrees on that sentiment, pass that along to Ed and Matt as they're discussing the rates with
Personally,
Colonial.
that's what I'd like to see, that. Hopefully
I would recommend that as well.
we can maybe get a better rate come springtime.
And so Eric, you'll take that too.
Mm-hmm.
Eric, do you see us playing, this committee playing any role in any of the subsequent steps with Colonial Power in regards to the community outreach piece, any of that? Or at this point, do they take that on, or do we still have kind of an active role in that aspect?
It appears that Colonial Power is going to do the bulwark of the public outreach process to get the word out. They're going to send out notifications to our residents, letting them know about the program, letting them know about the opt-out option, and providing them the contact for any questions for the Colonial Power Group. I believe it would be appropriate to have Colonial attend our next meeting once the plan is more solidified and the rates are set. And they can come here and present, you know, on our live meeting. Outside of that, of course, if the committee felt, you know, that it was appropriate to take further action, you know, I would say actually at the next meeting, as we're just discussing it with Colonial, we could understand their public
Maybe some
outreach efforts.
updates and
Yeah,
whatever
exactly.
from the-
What they have done, and then we could evaluate if it seems there's further action to take.
And I say that being mindful of, I think it was the article that, or the information that Matt had sent separately about some of the challenges that there were for the DPU to approve some of the programs because of the lack of community outreach.
Right.
Obviously, we're over that hurdle now, but I think to kind of ensure the success of the program, if we can in any way enable Colonial Power to get out to the community, I think that should be part of, you know, what we're charged with doing here, so.
Absolutely. And I think the success of the program in the eyes of our residents is going to be based largely on how well we communicate to them.
Okay, next agenda item, SED.
Okay. As of late morning, I heard back from Matt Vanderbrook at SED. He let me know that the consultant doing the acoustic and the flicker study will be announcing the dates shortly, in the next couple of weeks. And once we have the dates and the results from those studies, we will announce the balloon test, and SED will attend a meeting here in town to present the findings to the public. Outside of that, I don't have any further updates at this time.
So this is still somewhat going forward. I mean, the
You know,
it's been,
it is. We still have the funding to complete the study, and we still have the next steps. We weren't able to complete them in the spring because the leaves grew in, and apparently the best time for acoustic study is when the leaves fall.
makes sense.
So that will, be within the next couple months. So I think at this point, it's for posterity's sake that we're
Go through the
We're
due diligence
completing,
and.
yes.
And just because it predates my involvement with the committee, so at that point, is there like a go, no-go decision at that point, or
I think the committee will recommend at that point.
at that point?
Mhm. To continue to pursue or not to pursue.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right, more to come on that. So our next agenda item, LED light conversion.
I just wanted to start the conversation, at least. I was speaking with the energy manager for the town of Sutton. The town of Sutton had recently made the decision to convert their streetlights, well, first to purchase their streetlights and then convert them to LED. And a large factor in their decision is that the conversion presented a 70% reduction in energy consumption on their streetlights. And I know that Auburn has a larger amount of streetlights. I know that the town currently owns our streetlights. So they're, I think one thing, if the committee was interested and felt it was a worthwhile investment, we could do some investigation for the town. And
Are there any incentive programs?
I don't know I'm not aware of incentive programs. I know that the town of Sutton worked with a consultant who helped them evaluate the assets that they had, what it would take, and also find a local maintenance company that would, maintain the streetlights going forward.
Oh, really?
That is one thing. When National Grid owns the lights, part of what you pay, part of what a town pays in their fees is a maintenance fee. Are you aware, Jeff, if the town maintains the lights now, or does National Grid?
We don't own all of them.
Okay.
We own a big portion of the lights in town. But when there is a light out, we call the grid and they come in and they replace it for us.
Okay.
So whether we're paying some kind of maintenance, we own them, but we pay a maintenance fee through,
Right.
The accounts. That part, I'm not.
I believe that's
Sure.
built into
the
probably the
usage.
distribution.
Yeah,
The
the
distribution fee.
yeah. We would probably want to continue that portion of it because we don't have a bucket truck on a regular basis that we could go out and replace streetlights. Well, LEDs are supposed to last forever.
Right.
Pretty much, but
Mhm.
if there is an issue, we don't have access to a truck to actually, repair, replace streetlights.
Mhm.
Now, the town of Sutton, did they like appropriate money through their town meeting you know, a lump sum to do the entire conversion and then,
Those details I'm not aware of. What I thought would be a helpful next step, if we were interested, we could have somebody from the town of Sutton present at our next meeting,
sure.
and
Because
would help us
when we
understand.
did the light conversions, I guess it was an energy audit, lighting energy audit, a year ago, whatever it was. That incentive was through National Grid.
right,
So, you know, we had like a 70% savings on the equipment and work that was done. But the 30% that we had to pay for was included in, we paid it through our utility bill. So it wasn't like we had to, you know, necessarily put money out, although we, no, it was still through the bill. So, you know, there's so many months of electric bills that you're paying the cost.
you can pay it back on the bill,
Yes.
right,
So I didn't know, you know, I didn't know if there was anything like that available. Because the CFO has been telling us it's gonna be a tough year coming up, you know, next May for town meeting, so.
Right.
Next fiscal year, so. Although if we could show
The savings.
a good savings right away, that may offset what he has to say about that.
yeah. I believe that the payback for the town of Sutton was very short, within a few years. But in those terms, that would lead me to believe that the town paid for the project up front, you know?
Although there was, even with the other lights, there was a payback over like 2 years.
Right,
You know,
right.
Through the electric bills.
Yeah.
So it seems we're in agreement that we want to pursue it. Eric, can we have you
Okay.
take as an action item to have someone from the town of Sutton?
Mm-hmm.
And these are the type of questions and overview, but also some specifics about how they financed it, how that piece worked.
Yeah. Could, for the sake of me communicating effectively with that person, you know, just some general questions
Sure.
that we would want them to be prepared for. It sounds like financing.
Yeah, how it was financed, the consultant that they used, you know, where they come up with their numbers, whether it was through the consultant, you know, savings and
Right.
that type of thing.
I would think also if we could ask what type of vendor selection process they went through. Because I think if it's something we do want to pursue, we may want to take a similar approach like we did with the municipal aggregator, see a few different, do some comparison, but just get their lessons learned from their experience. Did they just go with one, or did they go through any type of RFP process for it?
You know, we would have to set up bid specs and, you know, solicit.
But at least for our recommendation perspective, if it's something, are there other vendors that we would want to, whoever they used and some others to bring in and just find out more about it, so.
Right. Okay.
That'll be great, so if we can get someone to come in, and then after that, we can decide what we think are, for the committee's sake, next steps.
Yeah.
I would imagine at that point, then maybe it is us doing a little research on our own into the different vendors, getting them to come in and present, so.
And of course, we would at some point need to involve Bill Coyle, the town engineer. What'd you think?
Like, I mean,
Well, since the DPW, does DPW own the streetlights? Does it fall under the DPW in any way?
I don't think so.
That's what I was thinking. so-
Traffic lights, yes,
Right, and we're not
but not
not streetlights.
don't. Could be wrong, I don't know.
Okay.
I guess we'd have to ask that question.
Sure.
I don't know if there would be, who would actually fall. Because there's no maintenance on the town's part, you know what I mean?
Right.
We don't do any of it, so
Right.
I don't know if there's an actual department that they actually fall on.
Okay.
That's something
mean-
you think we need to follow up
Yeah,
on?
we can just
Clarify that.
Contact Bill, yeah, even through an email or something.
Yeah.
Just say, this is what we're considering. Does it need your attention, that type of thing, you
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Right.
And if it doesn't, that's good, or if it does, that's fine too, but I mean.
Totally.
I mean, all I'm I'm saying is, if there's no need, there's no need, you know what I mean? You don't have to burden them with anything else.
No, definitely not. For some reason in my mind, I was just assuming
I
that
mean,
it
it's a
would.
possibility. I honestly don't know.
All right, great. So it's interesting how all the action items have Eric's name on them.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I think that's okay.
They're easy ones.
Yeah. Yeah.
So before we get to the last one, Jeff, you mentioned something about just the name of the committee. So talking about,
Yeah, I'm just curious, or wanted to open it up for discussion, whether there is a need to continue with this big, long wind turbine and alternative energy committee as being the name of the committee. If we could maybe just abbreviate it a little bit and call it Alternative Energy Committee.
I was thinking the same thing.
Whereas we're not just discussing wind turbines
Right,
anymore.
right,
we're-
and that's
we're
kind of
leaning
a-
more
yeah.
towards the latter. So,
Wrapping up, I mean, that, that's coming to an end one way or another.
Yeah. Right.
and to that is alternative energy really so when I think about things like the LED lights, and semantics a little bit, but it's really looking to, it's still the electricity, so it's not an alternative. So I don't know if having it just be the energy committee is, if that fits. So it goes back to, I guess this is a good time to talk about what our thoughts are for moving forward here. So I think continuing with our pursuing the wind turbine and understanding everything behind it, supporting the municipal aggregation effort. We have the LED lights, but what other areas do we think would be of use for this committee to research?
How many are we supposed to have on our committee?
He's a 5-person committee.
Five.
Is it 5? Oh, okay, because I wasn't sure if it was 5 or 7. I know,
I thought,
okay,
yeah,
yeah.
because
We had that
Dave,
reduced.
Dave and Bob are the only ones that aren't here.
Correct.
That's a good question then.
Yeah,
I
I
believe
thought
it's
it,
just the-
Oh, yeah.
I thought it had
'Cause I'm
gone up
not-
to,
Technically on
I'm not
the
a member.
committee. Yep.
I thought it had gone up, for some reason I thought it had gone up to 7, but,
When I joined, I remember Bob and I speaking to that, and I believe he might have spoken with Julie prior
right,
to that.
because we
because
never.
we're struggling to get
We
this
never,
in.
we never had 7. I think at one time we may have had 6. But, yeah.
Trying to find some of the old minutes to see,
Yeah, and I forgot, I remember seeing the list, and I thought it was just the 5 of us that were on there, so.
it could very well be.
But so when we think about, items that this committee can be charged with, researching and making recommendations for the town. We know the wind turbine supporting the municipal aggregation effort, the LED lights. I think if we do open it up, it does really give us more opportunity. I mean, the one that I think about, and I don't know if this was ever discussed before, but obviously the wind turbine, it will be whatever it's going to be, but has there been any discussions in town about solar? Is it something that we could tackle here and begin to look into? I think that's huge, but
Yeah,
an undertaking that I think would be well-spent time.
I think it would be. Jack and Jeff,
Absolutely, I agree.
has the committee in earlier, eras attempted to tackle that?
I
or-
thought that, on that, the subject of solar has come up, but I thought the town manager was kind of, she had her hands on that with some
Okay.
project, with the,
The landfill.
with the old landfill and stuff like that. I thought that there had been actually some contracts signed and stuff for solar, stuff that we really weren't involved with. Whether there's anything else to be done, I don't know, but some work had been done, certainly outside of this committee.
Okay.
Yeah, there has been some, not necessarily, like you said, not inside, not within the town though. We bought we joined into what the term is.
Right, a power
Great.
purchase agreement.
Oh, yes, actually 2 separate ones. two separate purchase agreements with other solar farms, I guess.
One of them might have even ended by now. I'm not sure, or was coming to an end. Yeah.
So we're supposed to be getting energy credits or whatever the term is from these other projects. And I thought, because I had talked about the landfill, because that's one of the perfect supposedly uses of a capped landfill is a solar farm. And I believe talking to Julie and might have been Matt, I don't know if you were included in the conversation. We're like 96% committed through those power purchase agreements, which only leaves,
Right,
4%.
I remember that,
Okay.
But
I remember that topic
I
coming up.
don't know if we're limited to 100%, you know what I mean? Or if we can go over 100, by putting in our own solar array or a solar farm. Because we could put in, I did do I had some discussions with a solar company or consultant, and they told me that we could put a 2 megawatt, either a 2 or a 3 megawatt solar farm on the capital landfill, which would, be advantageous, but I don't know if we can go above, you know what I mean, to go that route that much for only the 4% that's remaining, or another alternative too is leasing the land for a solar farm.
Right.
That way, once somebody starts leasing the property, obviously we get the lease money and we also get taxes. Because they would have to start paying taxes on the property because
Right.
they're leasing it. So that brings in, a little bit of revenue as well.
And do you know if those arrangements for the 96%, are they, they must have an expiration on them at some point? Or are they like long?
I
I-
can speak to that.
I think, okay.
Yeah, that's a 20-year agreement.
Okay.
And with that project, it's in Rutland. We had 2 agreements.
Isn't one of us?
The second one failed.
Oh, it did?
Yes, the project got held up in some sort of legal dispute and was put on permanent hiatus.
Really?
And so the Rutland farm has been completed and is anticipated to go live, I believe, in November. And then the town will begin receiving credits from that project. And that is accounting for the town's major facilities, as well as some pump stations, major streetlight accounts.
Okay.
It covers a good deal of our usage in it. It ended up, the project itself was a 2.5 megawatt project.
Okay.
And they were able to distribute all of the credits from the project just to Auburn. So it's kind of a unique
Oh,
situation.
so that is just the our municipal accounts, correct?
Right.
The town buildings.
Just the town
and
buildings.
whatnot. Now, if we were to put a solar farm in ourselves, can we include the residents' usage? That's what I was wondering. I mean, granted, the town would get, or the municipal side of things would get, the credit through Rutland. But I didn't know if there was a way on top of our aggregation, if we can get credit also for the residents. I don't know if it can go that far.
Right.
I mean, you throw a 2.5 or 3 megawatt site up there, we could really dump some money back into the grid and,
Yeah.
I think it's worth
I think
pursuing.
it'd be worth investigating.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I still have the contact person. I just don't know if that's the person that we should be talking to, or, I'll reach out to him,
Okay.
tomorrow and the next day and see
Great.
whether it can be done that way, or if that's, he may just say, no, you have to just lease the property, to them and let them, because the investors, what they get energy credits. So they'll fork out the money,
Right.
and they make a great deal of money through the credits. It's been a while since I dabbled in all of this, so that's like twice that I went through it, because I was gonna do it at one point. I was looking to put the panels on the roofs of certain town buildings.
Oh,
And then I went from that to bigger,
Yeah.
to the solar farms. Because a lot of that, the investors will pay for the entire installation. But what they do is they sell you the electricity at a set rate. You know what I mean, for 20 years. And then at the end of the 20 years, you would own the panels.
panels.
And then you could, reap the benefits. But,
Mm-hmm.
20 years from now, what's technology gonna be?
Gonna be for them.
As
Can't
far
even
as solar,
imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're probably gonna be smaller, they're gonna be more efficient,
Yeah.
Well, so that seems like, for at least the near future, continue the wind turbine, municipal aggregation, LED light, solar. Is there just anything else that we think of? I mean, that to me is pretty ambitious right there, I think.
Seems it.
Yeah. And as we start to go down the solar, look for, some guidance from the town manager as to where we should be focusing our efforts. So, but I think that'll give us a lot to work with. So back to Jeff.
Name.
The name. So the name.
All right, now we know what we're doing, how we gotta. What's the name gonna be?
Eric, can you think of anything that would be conflicting by it just being the energy committee?
I don't.
No, yeah, that's what.
I don't.
It's pretty,
Yeah.
that makes it broad enough so
I
that,
like that it's broad, it's concise,
yeah.
And I think that helps us both from it includes everything that's alternative, but it also.
Then you don't have to say alternative and
And-
conservation and
Right.
energy I mean,
energy conservation.
because I mean,
Yeah.
you're looking for that, and that saves you money, but I mean, that's not an, not an
Right.
alternative, that's just a,
It's all energy.
conservation.
Conservation method.
But I mean,
so-
you could put you can make the title longer if you want.
Yeah. Sure isn't.
So I motion that we
Yeah.
make the recommendation to change the name to the energy committee.
I'll definitely second that. So I guess the discussion needs to go to Julie, or at
Is
least
that-
ask
So-
whether it's Julie, and then, I don't know if it needs to go to selectmen, or who actually established the committee. I know Julie the town manager makes the appointments.
Here's
but I
my
don't know if the
recommendation.
Town meeting might have even established the
Right.
committee.
I think they did, yeah, way back, I mean,
Town meeting established it?
I think Nick Hammond was the one who had the original idea. And then, I think town meeting had something to do with it. You figure that would have been, what, 8 years ago, something like, somewhere like,
Oh,
in
that's
that
wild.
vicinity.
Well, my recommendation is that the committee maybe one of the members makes a motion to recommend the name change to the town manager. And then I can send a letter from the committee to town manager
Right.
saying, that the committee voted to recommend this name change, and then she can let us know if that's all it takes or if there's more to the process.
So I will change my motion to recommend that we change the name, that we make the recommendation to the town manager to change it to the energy committee.
Right, and I'll second the amended
Motion.
motion.
Can the chairman make motions? I don't know, I know the chairman on the board of selectmen can't, I don't know, I'm just asking. I mean,
Okay,
I'll,
all right, well,
just to
Yep.
cover
I'll
ourselves.
move what she said then.
Okay, yeah, I'll second, like I said, I know
That's-
that,
yeah,
I know
Fair,
that
fair.
Good point,
the
Jack.
the chairman on the board of selectmen can't make a motion. I mean, can recommend it certainly, but somebody else has to,
Right.
somebody else has to make the I don't know if that follows through in, all committees, but.
Actually, yeah, brings up a good point.
That was a good
Just to be
point.
on the safe side.
So we have a second?
Second.
Approved? Alright. Motion approved. Eric, is that something you need me to draft to send to you, or is it something,
You could.
I can do that?
Yep. Do you have a scanner? Because if you sign it and then as the
Yeah.
chairperson, then we can just send it right over to her.
Send to town manager.
Okay.
Yes.
Great.
I'm wondering if, as in addition to the letter, if we should notify her that we do have
Yeah.
one opening,
The opening.
possibly 2 vacant seats for her to advertise, solicit,
Yep.
however she goes about. I know she has to interview people for the committees, but
Mm.
I don't know if she advertises,
Vacancies for positions, yes.
Mm-hmm.
and whether that's up to us to contact Dave to see what his intentions are, whether he stays on, or if he wants to stay on, or if
Right.
he as well wants to resign.
Mm-hmm.
That might be Julie. That might be Julie who would do that. So we could request that she looks into it, follows up on that.
We could do that all under one,
Yeah.
Right. That's true.
under one letter.
Mm-hmm. If you're gonna write a letter, you might
Out
as
of the
well.
current,
Yeah.
out of the recent
Get
meeting.
some mileage out of it.
Kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Excellent, I will include that in on the letter. I'll circulate it to the committee, but then I'll sign it, scan it, and send it to you.
Sure.
Which reminds me, late breaking agenda item if possible. I don't think we've spoken about the energy fair because we haven't had a meeting
That's
in
right. We haven't
here.
had a meeting.
But just mentioning that, so Eric and I have been working with the towns of Sutton and the towns of Millbury to hold a Tri-Town Central Mass Energy Fair, which will be held October 3rd at the Millbury High School from 10 to 2 p.m. And it will be a great event. We have a lot of panel speakers there, as well as lots of activities for kids and families. We'll have some live entertainment and a lot of informational booths set up from a bunch of different things, from solar at your home to, some of the local banks, how you can finance, things like that. And there's a website, I believe it's centralmassenergyfair.com, so you can go there for more information.
Mm-hmm.
And just wanted to share that since, some of us, Jeff, I know you were involved in the
started,
beginning.
yeah.
So, but that will be a week from this Saturday, and we think it's going to be a great event.
Oh, we'll be this
It
Saturday.
is this Saturday.
It is this upcoming Saturday. It is
Time
this upcoming
flies.
Saturday. I was thinking we had one more week, and we do not.
We don't. Time to crack.
So I hope you're getting all your stuff done.
Oh, we're more than ready. We are more than ready.
Yeah. It reminds me at our last meeting for the event, the idea came up that perhaps we could advertise the open seat on the Energy Committee at this meeting, because if there's residents from Auburn who are in attendance, maybe they're in attendance because they're interested in these types of topics, and we could maybe target,
Yeah.
the audience.
So we'll put something together, try to put it kind of central staging in the front, just if you're from Auburn, you're interested.
Yeah.
I'm not certain if there's companion committees like this in Sutton or Millbury. I don't believe, I haven't heard,
Millbury has
they do?
one.
Okay.
Yes.
So maybe we make it more generic, but we can talk about that at the Energy Fair, just if people have interest and want to participate in the committees. We'll see if they want to put something like that somewhere. So-
Right.
All right, and then our final agenda item, date for the next meeting.
Okay. Do we want to schedule that meeting around Colonial Power advertising, and now who makes the final selection? I mean, is it all up to Colonial as far as
The rates,
the rates?
the town manager does, and she's working with the CFO and with Matt.
Okay, so I mean, best case scenario, the bid opening would be, or if that's how they do it, would be probably, what, 3 weeks? Minimum, I would say. At least 3 weeks out.
So I guess with electricity, it's a little different. They bid on the day, and the power companies have rates that day.
Oh.
And they change like twice a day. It's a really fast market.
Oh, so it's not like we advertise and then, no.
It's not like that.
So they could actually go
Colonial-
for rates tomorrow, then
Right.
pretty much.
Yeah, they selected October 1st because it was just a convenient day, October 1st, they said. So, but they have suppliers that they work with, and they just send their
Oh, okay.
requests right directly to their suppliers, and it comes back that day. And
So we'll have rates on October 1st.
we
Or
could,
we should have.
if there are favorable rates, then the bid would have to close by 3 p.m., from what I understand.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
So I guess we can pick a date anytime.
And then the other piece is, so do we want to have that next meeting be both just a Colonial Power, and then if someone from the town of Sutton is available as well?
mhm,
We
I
could
think
probably
those
do-
would be
Yeah.
great agenda items,
Sure.
you know?
I think it would be great to kind of move the LED thing along a little bit before we even start to talk about the solar piece, just so we don't have we have a lot of stuff going on, so that we can focus on one, get it to a good place, and then move to the next one, so.
Sure.
Do we want to schedule a tentative date, or, I mean, you have to coordinate with other folks, so.
Do we want to go like 30 days out? Like, or do we want less than that?
Well, part of the conversation, I think, to maintain, a certain level of energy with the committee, do we want to have more regularly scheduled meetings? A monthly
We can
meeting?
do monthly, yeah. I mean, I don't have a problem. Or do we need to schedule a little bit sooner for Colonial as far as public outreach,
Okay,
I don't know.
that's a good point. So, maybe we could schedule a tentative date, say like 4 weeks out, just nailing down something that we all agree on, like in that range. And what I'll do is I'll speak with Colonial about their public process. And if they recommend we meet sooner, then I could email you all and we can agree on a date that way.
Well, how does this Monday fit with the rest of the committee being the fourth Monday of the month? Should we just take this as the date as a normal meeting night? I mean,
That works
first
fine
and
for
third
me.
doesn't work for me, so it'd either be
Okay.
second or fourth Mondays. The only thing is, well, we're early enough, so even if we had to go to the selectmen's meeting, we have time. so.
Yeah, absolutely.
Jack, how does that work for you?
Fine.
So we'll look to establish a regular cadence of the fourth Monday at 5:30. I
Okay.
think that time worked okay for,
Yeah, I mean, it's great for me.
the fourth Monday.
And I'll coordinate with the school department to see if we could secure this room,
Great.
because I believe town hall is pretty packed out on Mondays. Mondays are a hot night because it's open until 7.
And then, so we'll look to have the next meeting be 10/26. But Eric will reach out to Colonial Power, and if for I think we still look to keep that meeting on, and if we need to maybe have a special meeting in between just to do that community outreach piece, then, that maybe is the only agenda item, so we can meet and have.
Just have a special meeting just
Yeah,
for that.
yep.
It's
But I
not a
think
bad
that'll-
idea.
yeah.
Yeah.
So then we
And
have
maybe
it
the
set.
public will come out. It's a hot topic.
Yeah.
Actually, I suppose we could go to the selectmen's meeting and talk to him tonight to see if he,
That's true.
because I mean, we're pretty much wrapping up here.
Mhm. Yeah,
Catch him before the meeting.
probably catch him before the meeting.
I will be unavailable to go to the.
That's okay. I have to go back to town hall anyways.
Okay.
So I'll try and do that. If I get a hold of him,
Yeah.
we could have an
Are you
email
there?
tomorrow.
Well, actually, are you there normal hours?
I'm not.
You said
but
you're-
Matt is,
Okay,
so Matt's gonna see him anyways.
okay,
I'll get Matt before the meeting.
there you go.
Okay.
So that works for me. Anything else?
I don't believe so.
Move to adjourn?
Good.
All right,
Good meeting.
6:21, great, thanks, guys.